Hello and welcome back. How's everybody doing? It's IDP Bets. My name is Johny the Greek. Happy week 8 everyone. The bye apocalypse is upon us with 6 teams on bye this week, so that should be fun. But we got a good show for you this week. We've got a very special guest at Eric Harms FF, all one word on Twitter. He is a contributor for the IDPshow.com. He does the weekly IDP waiver wire article for the site and has written about IDP only best ball and how NFL rule changes could affect IDP production. He's a known degenerate. He is a history fan. He likes boring documentaries about history, and so do I. So he's a man after my own heart. And the only person I can talk Dan Carlin with on staff, it's Mr. Eric Harms. Eric, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Love Dan Carlin. Great podcast that he puts out. But yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on, and had kind of a rough week this week. My luck has been not good, so we'll see if we can't turn things around tonight.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier this week. It's bound to change at some point. So
It's got to.
hopefully this is it. Alrighty, before we get into it tonight, just a reminder, these are not even suggestions. We are just discussing the bets that we will be making personally this week. Set a limit and stick to it. For help with problem gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Transparency for week 7. We had an outstanding week last week. We were 6-3 and missed by just half a tackle on Quentin Lake. Mr. Jeff Pomazal hit both of his sack props and made some serious cash for a whole bunch of people, including some fellas out in London who got to see the game, make some money, and cash a Jared Verse sack prop on literally the first play from scrimmage. So that was fantastic. Great work by Jeff last week. And just a quick note, this came up during the week as well. Underdog and Bet365 typically put out the IDP props first and earliest, and then DK and FD follow usually the morning of each game. And the lines and prices are usually identical or very close to it. We had a couple guys ask about that, so there you go for that. But with that being said, let's get into it. It's week 8. Mr. Harms, why don't you kick us off? What's your first favorite IDP bet for this week?
Okay, I'm going to start with Will Anderson, over 3.5 tackles. It's at plus 100, so just an even line there. He's cleared that line in 4 out of 6 games that he's played this season. And the 2 games that he missed were both blowouts, one against the Titans and one against the Ravens. And he only didn't even play 50% of the snaps against the Ravens. So I think he's a good bet to hit that 3.5. This week, he's facing the 49ers, and they have given up more tackles per game to defensive linemen than any other team. 21 tackles per game. And the last 3, they've actually given up 24 tackles per game. They've been leaning pretty hard on Christian McCaffrey. Does that change with the receivers coming back, with Purdy getting healthy? I don't know. I don't know how healthy anybody really is. So I think they continue to lean on McCaffrey. So that's where I'm going this with the first one is Will Anderson.
Yeah, I love it. Excuse me. This was part of the article I write that I've noticed this. They ran it with between CMC and the other rushing attempts 39 times last week. So I would say that the opportunity will be there.
Yeah, for sure. Leading heavy on the run in San Francisco.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and Anderson's been having a great season, so I'm with you. Yep. Good stuff there. And I may be off on the price. It's plus 100 is better than that. I looked that up like an hour ago, so it's probably better than minus 110.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. These things change literally minute to minute, so it's all good. Yeah, beautiful first bet though. I like it quite a bit. My first one for week 8 is going to be Robert Spillane over 8.5 combined tackles at minus 120, also on Bet365. So he's cleared this line in 4 of 7 games so far this season. This week he's getting the Cleveland Browns in their 2nd overall ranking for allowing linebacker tackles each week. Cleveland gives up 19.1 linebacker tackles per game. And that tracks, as their offensive philosophy is run with Judkins, tight end targets, and then distant third place is a downfield throw to a wide receiver. So the only games where Spillane hasn't crossed this line this season were against ineffective offenses like Las Vegas, Miami, and Tennessee. Cleveland isn't exactly the greatest show on turf, but I think they've found their identity with Judkins and Fannin, and most of that action will be in Spillane's area. The Patriots are favored by a touchdown and at home, but these teams are probably closer than we think as they're right next to each other in time of possession ranking, among other rankings. And they're both led by, a young quarterback with a stout defense. So I think as long as New England doesn't absolutely annihilate Cleveland, which I don't see happening, and we're not getting backups in the third quarter, I think this has got a decent shot at happening. What do you think about Bobby Spillane this week?
I love the call. Even if it's a blowout, what else is Cleveland gonna? I guess Blaine could sit, but Cleveland's gonna have to run and throw the tight ends. It's what they do, like you said. Not a lot else there. Even Judy, if he's getting catches, it's short yardage catches. So yeah, I love that call.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no, it's, and I think a lot of us, at least I did, took a bunch of Judy this year thinking that, well, Flacco was there to begin with. There's going to be some downfield throws, and he's not on any teams I have anymore. So there's that.
I've got him, but he's not playing.
Right.
He's not in the lineup.
Yeah. Absolutely. All righty, Mr. Harms, what do you got for number 2?
For my second one, I'm going to pick on your Cowboys and select Nik Bonitto to get a sack. It was plus 128. Prefer if I could wait and get the half sack from DraftKings or something, but this is also a pretty good bet here. I think he's gotten at least 1 sack in 5 out of 7 games this season, a total of 8 sacks on the season. This week he faces Tyler Guyton and the Cowboys, which the Cowboys line isn't great. Dak does get the ball out pretty quick. So they're probably going to focus on that this week against the Broncos with the known elite pass rush. But Denver has good defensive backs too, with Surtain and Moss and McMillian and Barron there. So I think maybe the short, quick passes aren't quite as open as they have been for some teams, like against the Eagles earlier in the year. They have Cooper DeJean and Mitchell, but that third corner there is awful. Hasn't been good all year. So Guyton is a 44.1 pass block grade on the year. Not good. He's given up 21 pressures and 4 hits, but only 1 sack so far. And I think, again, that's probably because of the quick pass game. I like the plus money on it. So I'm gonna bet on Nik Bonitto this week getting a sack against the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, I could see it. It actually shocked me. Earlier today, I was looking at stats for, just a couple of these bets, and Denver's the overall number 1 team for sacks per game and total sacks in the league so far. And I did not think it was them. I thought it might be like Minnesota or something like that. But yeah, no, they're crushing it, all of them. And yeah, I don't think Dallas is going to fare well this week. So I'm with you on that. All righty. Pretty good stuff there. Okay, my second one is shocking. I'm going to go to a corner. Yeah, and I think this has got a pretty decent shot this week. I'm going to take Brandon Stevens of the Jets over 5.5 combined. This is plus 120 on Bet365. So Stevens has only cleared this line in 3 of 7 games so far this season, but I believe he's in a perfect setup to do so this week against Cincinnati. He's getting the Bengals in their 8th overall ranking for allowing cornerback tackles each week. They're allowing 13.4 per game. That is somewhat misleading, though, as the time between Burrow going down and that second half against Green Bay a couple weeks ago was an absolute nightmare for Cincinnati and that ranking. It just was in free fall with Browning under center. Anyone that had Jamar Chase shares was freaking out. Same things with Higgins, and everyone's happy once again now with Flacco back under center. That's changed completely. Last week, the Cincy wide receivers had 37 of 45 total targets, and Chaisson Higgins had 33 of them just by themselves in one game last week. So yeah, wide receiver targets, that's a key factor in creating opportunity for cornerback tackles, for opposing defenses. And we've got quite a few. Beyond that, Sauce Gardner is out with a concussion this week. That was just confirmed earlier today. So I think it's going to be a long day for the Jets in their secondary. And if Flacco was able to pepper Chaisson Higgins with that many targets against a real defense with Pittsburgh last week, God only knows what's going to happen to the Jets this week with their 26th overall points per game defense. The Jets are also the 28th overall pass rush right now with just 10 sacks on the season, which is absolutely wild. Anyone with Will McDonald shares knows how bad it's been this year. The New York secondary is missing its best overall corner. Their starting slot corner and Michael Carter hasn't played since week 4. And their once scary pass rush is now basically non-existent. Flacco is straight dealing. The Jets offense is dead on arrival. I think all that sets up to be a long day at the office for Brandon Stevens and gives him a pretty good shot of getting over this. But what do you think about Brandon Stevens this week?
For sure. I was looking through the teams and their stats and everything. I thought, oh, Jets cornerback would be good. And then I saw, oh yeah, Johnny's taking Brandon Stevens. And didn't Jamar Chase say this week that he a reasonable expectation would be 25 catches, something like that? So yeah, I think you're right. They're going to get peppered with targets those receivers are, and the cornerbacks are going to be winded.
Yeah. It's crazy. I got whiplash from the turnaround in Cincy there. It was all over, and now it's not. So
it's amazing what a veteran quarterback can do for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, what are you thinking for your next one?
I'm going to stay against your Cowboys. I'm taking Riley Moss over 5.5 tackles plus assists. I saw it at minus 105. He's cleared that line, and kind of like your cornerback in 3 out of 7 games this year. 2 of them he missed by just a half a tackle. So he was close on 2 others. He gets Dallas this week. And we talked about them a little bit earlier. They allow the most tackles to corners. Been a little bit lower these last few weeks, but they've been getting a lot of really big plays from receivers. They had between Lamb and Pickens, they had 9 catches for 212 yards in that game against the Commanders. Both were averaging over 20 yards a catch. Pickens had another 9 for 168 against Carolina. And then Flournoy and Pickens went 8 for 171 against the Jets. So they've been getting a lot of big plays recently. So I think that's maybe why the cornerback tackles have gone down the last few weeks. But yeah, I really like that. And I think against Denver, like I said earlier, they're going to have to focus on getting the ball out quick. There's going to be, I think, more passes being thrown, more opportunities for the cornerbacks to make some plays and get some tackles. So that's where I landed on taking Riley Moss, the former Hawkeye at cornerback there.
I love it. And so I'm with you completely. I made him an ideal call in my article this week for many of the same reasons. And I actually found a blurb in your waiver wire article that was fantastic, saying that Moss has seen 50% more action going his way than Surtain. And that makes total sense, right? Like, who would you rather throw at? Like, the guy that's going to ruin your day or Riley Moss? You know what I mean? So it makes sense.
Right. He's got 45 targets to Surtain's 30 this year. So, yeah, it's 2 or 3 targets more per game.
Yeah, no, that's what I would do. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's a great call right there. Alrighty. So number 3 for me is going to be Mr. DaRon Bland over 5.5 combined tackles. A lot of corners today, but there's 6 teams on bye. What do you guys want? It is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna go DaRon Bland over 5.5 combined, plus money at plus 105. So he's cleared this line in just 2 of 5 games so far this season because he missed a couple with injury. But there's more to that. We'll get to that in a second. This week he's getting the Broncos. They are the 4th best across the league for allowing opposing cornerback tackles at 14 per game. And Bland recently had a massive shift in his usage and alignment. Just last week, he was moved back to the slot corner in Dallas. He's been playing outside for most of the season. Not last week. That decision immediately paid off with a pick six and a massive box score that included 7 combined tackles, a pass defense, an interception, and a touchdown. So yeah, it's possible that he moves back to outside corner, and the odds of this happening drop off a cliff. But with a payoff like that, I'm betting that Dallas keeps him right where he is. Beyond that, 60% of his total snaps last week were from the slot. He also had 13% in the box, blitzed 4% of the time, and played all 100% of snaps as is tradition. So what we've got is a traditionally hugely productive cornerback going back to the slot and the utilization that enabled that production. And he's in an ideal matchup against a Denver team that allows the 4th most cornerback tackles each week and is now 6th overall in the entire league for wide receiver targets each week, which further, makes those cornerback tackles happen. So I think that's a fantastic setup, but we'll see what happens. What do you think about Mr. Bland this week?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And Denver, they focus on their receivers. Their top 3 target receivers this year are the 3 wide receivers, Sutton, Mims, and Franklin, with Ingram there in the 4th spot. But so they do target their receivers a lot, and I think it's a great call.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right. I think that takes us to bonus bets. What do you got for unless I'm missing one, a bonus bet? Yeah.
Yeah. I love this one because I wrote him up in my waiver wire article as well. It's Clavon Chaisson to get a sack versus Cleveland at minus 105. Cleveland's had a rough time with their offensive line this year. I think everybody knows. He's hit that 3 of 6 games so far, getting a sack this year, and he had a half a sack in another. This is one I'll definitely want to see what DraftKings has for the half sack on Sunday morning. But I'm still comfortable with a sack, and he's playing 67% of the snaps this year for New England, which is the highest of his career that he's been on the field. And actually the last 2 weeks, he's been on the field 75% of snaps. He's got 25 pressures on the year, which is top 25 at edge in the NFL, which might surprise a lot of people. With the 4.5 sacks, 3 QB hits as part of that. Cleveland brought in Cam Robinson to try to help shore up their offensive line. Hasn't done a whole lot for them. Played against Pittsburgh, his first full game out there, and they destroyed him. He had a 27.4 grade that game. Gave up 5 pressures, 2 sacks, and a hit against Pittsburgh, which obviously they have a great defensive line and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And then against Miami, he was at least partially bailed out by the weather in that game. It was a monsoon there in Cleveland, and not a whole lot of deep passes or anything being thrown. So we ended up with a 66 grade there, but I really think it probably wouldn't have been that good if they didn't have the weather issues there. So I'm thinking that New England puts a lot of pressure on Dylan Gabriel, and Chaisson ends up with the sack.
Nice. I like it. It's that I'll tell you what, that's a name that surprised me coming out of left field this year and kind of having a rebirth in New England. I remember rookie drafts taking this guy years ago and then just kind of writing him off in my dynasty leagues, and he's come out swinging this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, was supposed to be good and never was, but this year he's getting the playing time. We always say, you got to be on the field to make a difference, and he's actually getting on the field this year and making some plays.
I'm with you. Absolutely. And yeah, good call on checking for the half sack too. A lot more of these options open up the morning of the games. They'll give you the slider. So you could do, one sack, two sack, three sack. They'll also give you more options with over-unders for tackles and stuff like that. So definitely check that out closer to kickoff. That's for sure. Alrighty, in the bonus bet for me this week, we're gonna go with a defensive lineman, Mr. Derrick Brown, over 3.5 combined tackles at -145 on bet 365. So he's cleared this line in just 3 of 7 games this season, but he has been heating up recently. He's cleared this in 2 of the last 4 and had a 7 combined tackle performance last week. This week he's getting the Buffalo Bills and their 10th best ranking for excuse me, for allowing opposing defensive line tackles with 17.2 per week given up. The Bills are fresh off a bye and haven't. This shocked me, but it tracks. They're fresh off a bye week and they haven't won a game in the month of October. They're pretty healthy beyond Taylor Rapp and favored by a touchdown on the road. The Bills have been taking crap from literally every angle possible. They're desperate for a win. And with the ascension of the Patriots and the hype surrounding them, you can kind of feel the panic a little bit in Buffalo that this is supposed to be their division and it's slipping away from them. So I think we're going to get a traditional Bills monster game this week where James Cook goes crazy. We get that sprinkling of Josh Allen and his magic. And, the Bills are already the first overall time of possession team in the league. I think they'll continue that trend this week. I think they're going to easily handle this Panthers team that's starting Andy Dalton this week. Buffalo averages 31 rushing attempts per game to begin with. And if they hadn't already had a bye week, they would be the team with the most rushing attempts in the league if we extrapolate that out and, add that missing week back in. So I think they should dominate time of possession. I think James Cook is going to go crazy this week. I think they get a ton of carries to begin with. They need a win in the worst way. I expect that they'll deliver on that. And all that makes for a very busy day at the office for Mr. Derrick Brown and a great shot at him clearing this line. What do you think about Derrick Brown this week?
I like it. I like it. Derrick Brown's always been high tackle, defensive tackle. Not usually a lot of sacks or pressure, but has always gotten a lot of tackles throughout his career. Been one of the better tackling defensive tackles. So I think it's a good bet this week, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you, sir. What was it? It wasn't last season, was it? Because he was injured last season. It was the one before where he had like 80 something tackles. Or
just ridiculous.
Like yeah, it was unreal.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, good stuff there. Hopefully, those all work out and we make everyone a ton of money. we'll see. But before.
No, I was going to say, I mentioned my luck earlier. Let's just say within 15 hours, 2 cars wouldn't even turn over when I tried to start them. So it's been a week.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that was the least of it. You told me. So,
yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't transfer to the bets.
I'm due for some good.
That's right. That's right. Mr. Harms, before we get out of here, I mentioned you're working on the waiver wire this year, but where can the people find you? Are you doing anything else this season? Anything in the off season? Any announcements for the crowd?
Mostly the waiver wire every week. Find that on idpshow.com. And I typically tweet it out too. My Twitter is, as you said earlier, at Eric Harms FF. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm focusing on this year is the waiver wire.
Yeah, and I really love that format too. It's such a good way to do it where you've got, because a lot of waivers, especially IDP waiver wires, I see it's like Tatum Bethune, and it's like, oh, thank you. I had no idea that Fred Warner's backup was going to be like a great option, but you cover shallow, medium, and deeper leagues, and for all positions, and you've got a detailed write up for each one. That's a fantastic way of doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. All righty. Well, yeah, that's it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel for the other shows, the flagship IDP Show podcast, the IDP After Show, the IDP Trade Show, and IDP Drafts. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so for just $5 a month over at theidpshow.com. We've got premium features for paid supporters that we know you'll enjoy. Follow us on Twitter at the IDP Show, all one word. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Good luck in week 8. Hopefully the bipocalypse doesn't get us, and we'll catch you guys same time, same place next week. Take care.
Good luck,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Yep.